Hello, beautiful soul family. Rebecca here, your vibe mentor. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How long have you been working on healing? How long have you been working on healing your blocks? And does healing seem like a never-ending process? Do you struggle with abundance blocks or blocks to purpose or health or love? Do you also struggle to even find your blocks? If so, then this is the video for you. What you're about to learn could literally change your life, and it has the potential to even prevent a lot of pain. If you have been struggling with removing your blocks for more than 6 months, then this is the video for you. You need this video. So don't continue to waste any more time. Consider this your public service announcement. The way we go about healing is shifting and changing. The society that we live in is changing. The world is changing, and how we live our lives is going to have to change as well. And so the way we have to heal is going to move and change along with that. No longer can we live in darkness. This confusion over how do I find my blocks? What's blocking my manifestation? It's time for us to understand how to fully heal and remove our blocks. The problem is that not many people are aware of how healing is changing. Far too many heart-centered beings are stuck in the hidden seeker phase. And it's causing a lot of problems for those of us who came here with a purpose, with a desire to create a better world, to end human suffering. There is a tremendous need for healing in our world today. And we are the ones who are here to assist with that. And yet we're being held back and we can't quite figure out why. So especially post-COVID, there is a tremendous amount of people exhibiting trauma responses in the world. And I think I have a gesture around that, because some people feel like not everybody has trauma. Well, that may be true, whether or not you identify as having trauma. The vast majority of the world is exhibiting trauma responses. So if you did not feel safe, seen, heard, cared for, or loved for an extended period of time, you are likely dealing with complex trauma. And if you think about how did a vast majority of the world's population feel during COVID, there was a question of whether or not we were safe for a very long period of time. There was also a lot of isolation and loneliness, a question of whether or not we were being taken care of. Right. So we just know that we are living through, and I just use as an example, regardless of your opinion, one way or the other, your side of the aisle doesn't really matter. It's really just to demonstrate that we are in a healing crisis right now. This is the greatest healing crisis potentially in human history, right? Mental health conditions are on the rise. Suicide is on the rise. Anxiety and depression is on the rise. The amount of children who are dealing with depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts or tendencies is staggering. And this is all because humanity is trying to force themselves to live a way that we are not designed to live. And in part, it is also because we as light workers are hiding our light. We are holding back our gifts, the ancient wisdom that we have amassed. We are ignoring our healing abilities, and our ability to step into our purpose is also inhibited because of our hiding. So if you identify as a heart-centered being, as a light worker, as a starseed, or even just a conscious individual, this announcement marks a pivotal moment in your lifetime, in our history, and it will create a major shift in your life, which is necessary in order for you to survive and thrive in the current state of the world today. So I'm sure you've noticed that the way we are living is not working, and it is not sustainable. Our systems are crumbling. Our bodies and our minds are in distress. People are retracting more and more into isolation and separation, and at the same time, taking on more and more activity and responsibility and rushing around trying to keep up with the hectic pace of life. Thank goodness for that COVID break to bring attention to this. Right? We have very little time for rest, let alone to be still or fully recuperate or allow our bodies to rest and digest and heal and grow and repair, right? We have been forced by sheer necessity to forego physical exercise or deprioritize our health food. We eat convenient or fast or even fake foods because we're on the go and we have no time. And we've had to let go of things that are so critical to our success, like connection, community, rest, and play. And all of this just to survive. None of us want these things, but we feel that there's no other way. And then, of course, because we're living in this unsustainable environment, we have to find ways to cope with the stress and the pain. And we look to things like addictive substances, maybe drugs or alcohol. That's why opioids are especially attractive nowadays. That satisfies the connection centers in the brain. Others turn to more socially acceptable addictions like video games or shopping or even codependency through people, right? But none of these are sustainable solutions, and our bodies are breaking down. Our minds are overstimulated and running away with themselves. Have you noticed the monkey mind is even more active lately? With this, of course, is just going to make us feel depressed and anxious and stuck. We are cut off from what truly matters. And this, again, is unsustainable. We are headed towards a complete breakdown for humanity. And this has been happening for years. And many don't even notice it's happening, which means there's going to be a massive amount of healing needed. And this also means there is going to be a flood of people looking for healers. Have you ever asked yourself the question, why are so many conscious beings hidden and tucked away? Why are so many of us amassing all of this ancient wisdom and healing techniques? Because we are needed for the flood of people who will be seeking healing in the very near future, who are already starting to look for it. The shift and change has already started, and it's been going on for decades, but it has sped up exponentially in the last few years. I am sure you have noticed. It's like hyperspeed. Some may not have even noticed it was happening, but the change is moving. And like I said, it's unstoppable. We're about to have this massive flood of people who are waking up to their need for healing. And I suspect you might be one of those healers that they are looking for. So it's time to start removing the blocks that keep you from sharing your healing gifts with the world. And like I said, healing is shifting and changing, and not many people are talking about this. And I can tell you, I tried everything. I was the hidden seeker. I was trying to desperately figure out, I'm doing all the things right. I'm doing all the QHHT and hypnosis and meditations and affirmations and vision boards and sleep hypnosis and every single thing out there. I tried it and nothing seemed to move the needle. And I couldn't figure out why was I making these tiny little marginal baby steps, but never really feeling like I made progress. And that's when I discovered what I have to share with you today. This is how healing is changing. So just know, if you don't listen to this message right here and now, you may miss the opportunity to contribute to the biggest wave of healing our beautiful Mother Earth has ever known, right? Whether or not you are newly awakened or already a skilled healer, if you listen to what I'm about to explain, this is going to change your life. You're going to understand things that no one else in the industry is talking about as it relates to healing the whole body, right? Not only will you find how to understand and identify the blocks that are holding you back, but also why your previous healing techniques may not have worked completely. We'll show you how to spot the blocks and how to clear them and how to heal them and remove them completely, or at least to the lowest possible point. We will also teach you how to reprogram your subconscious mind and achieve true mind, body, soul alignment. The biggest struggle in the community today, in the spiritual community, is that most healers cannot see their blocks. And I was one of them. That's how I know, right? But it's because they are invisible. There are a few common problems or consistent issues, problems and issues, symptoms, you could call them one or the other, it doesn't matter. But they show up pretty consistently, shockingly, surprisingly consistently. And that's the beauty of this, is when you get into this work, you start to see how obvious it is, but it may have been difficult for us to spot previously because it's subconscious, right? So if you have been one of these, if you've struggled with one of these problems I'm about to go into, then I will know that you are suffering and not prepared for the change that is about to happen. And again, I only say these things because I have been there. So I want you to know that all of this comes from my experience. So I'm not pointing fingers. right? And it starts with working the 9 to 5 job that you have hated for years and secretly wishing you could start your own business. How much do you dislike that sick feeling in your stomach on Sunday night when you realize the weekend's over and you have to go back to that world that you so want to escape? I don't know about you, but I would consistently meditate and visualize and feel into the future vision, right? Feel into the dream. I would repeat affirmations and use my sleep hypnosis and stare at the vision board, and still nothing was working. If the dream is not materializing and you keep binging more and more YouTube videos to figure out how to manifest or what am I doing wrong, you listen to all the gurus and you keep the positive thinking and live as if and hold the vision, and they say it'll manifest, right? But what they don't tell you is how long? How long do I continue doing this before I ask the question, am I missing something? Do we keep going over and over the same thing, doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result? The shift has already started. And like I said, it's on hyper speed. There is no more time to waste. And if you aren't getting the results that you want, you have to start asking, what am I missing? If you aren't seeing growth, if you aren't seeing the evidence of change, if you are not seeing your manifestation start to materialize in some way, then that means you are not adapting to the shift and the change in the healing strategies that are being asked of us or being offered to us now. It also means you're risking being left behind. So you have to choose. Do you want to continue to do things the same way over and over, full well knowing the risk? Or do you want to choose to adapt? Are you open? Are you ready? Can you hear? Right? Those who have eyes to see and ears to hear, you have to tell yourself, I'm in this place where I have said, I've tried everything. Now is the time. Something has got to shift and change. The next challenge that I see, that most people who have started their, not most, but many of the people who have started their purpose-driven business still struggle with, is that they're in survival still and they're not thriving. Maybe they're getting some results. Maybe they've got some traction. They've got some customers, but they've even seen the positive impact of their work, but their sales are sporadic. They're inconsistent, and they struggle with the fear, the question of, is this going to work? Am I going to be able to sustain this? Am I going to succeed, or am I going to have to give up my dream, my business? And you know that growing the business requires consistent posting and being seen, but you'll write a post or a short video and perfect it to death and then delete it instead of posting it. Or maybe you have that crippling fear of going live and end up making excuses as to why you don't need to do that. Or worse yet, you even get stuck maybe in the trap of, I don't have anything to offer, or people won't value what I have to offer. Right. Another trap that people get stuck in is the niche trap, right? You continuously pivot over and over and over, trying to figure out, what is my messaging? What is my ideal client? And you never allow yourself to really gain momentum for one clear offer, because you just keep changing and changing and changing, right? People can't get to know you, and they haven't seen enough of you to know, like, and trust you in order to buy from you. Right. And that all usually is partially driven by the fact that we don't allow them to see us fully. Right. In either case, you hit a breaking point, right? The struggle is exhausting and all you want to do is quit. So you go back into meditation and you ask Source for guidance on how to get unstuck and what's blocking my manifestation. But all we ever end up hearing is, you have everything you need inside of you. It can be like infuriating sometimes, right? Which leads me to the third issue that I commonly see, is that we can't seem to make things happen. When we can't seem to make things happen, we tend to look outside of ourselves, right? We go to gurus and psychics and friends and family, and we ask them, what should I do? But that can kind of feel like chasing our tail too. Nothing ever really resonates, or it just doesn't stick because it didn't come from source, right? Which could be even more frustrating and exhausting. So I just want to clarify, I'm not demonizing astrology or tarot cards, but when it becomes a crutch, when we can't make a decision without consulting, when we are listening or leveraging external resources more than we're listening to ourselves, it becomes very problematic. And then, of course, because we are spinning our wheels, we feel stuck, we then have to turn to those vices again, right? We look for comfort food or distraction like social media or a glass of wine. And it just really perpetuates that feeling of hopelessness and despair and depression and anxiety. And of course, the monkey mind gets even louder. It's that constant hamster wheel of thought, trying to solve the problem, trying to figure it out, which really, at the end of the day, is our source of suffering, is excessive thought. And what we don't realize is that we haven't seen progress in so many months. We should actually, if we are a clear vessel, if we are aligned mind, body, and soul, if we don't have anything hiding in our subconscious, we don't have that glass ceiling of safety holding us back, we are fully aligned to the path, then we should see results in just a couple of months. A little bit. There should be a knowing within you. I've gotten a little bit closer. There should be some evidence reflected to you from the external world. I've gotten a little bit closer, right? You should see evidence of your manifestations within a couple of months, even if it's the big ones, and it might be small, but there should be evidence. So like I said, when we continue to do things over and over and over, expecting a different result, we have to stop and ask the question, what am I missing, right? If we are ready and if we are adapting to the shift and change, then we will see the evidence, right? You'll start to see what's truly holding you back. And that way we can start to adapt to the new way of healing and removing blocks, right? Progress should be obvious and measurable, and it should happen relatively quickly. And I say relative because so many of us lived 40 some years working on healing forever, right? That's relative, right? So relatively quickly would be months, right? I see people usually about a year in this process where they really start to accelerate and reclaim their abundance birthright, and they're realigning to their original design, right? So I'll tell you how to do this in just a minute. But I want to quickly cover the things that I've listed and what those solutions are before we get into the exact specific details on how all of this works, right? So all of the problems that I have listed are symptoms of someone who is not aware of how healing is shifting and changing. And they are not aware of what's necessarily going on, maybe to a lesser degree. Then there might be some awareness, but it's still an uncertainty of how to assist, right? There's the awareness of the wave of individuals in need of healing that are coming, but there's still an inability to step out there and be seen and let people know, hey, I can help you heal. Right. And I don't want you to be held back by the way that healing is shifting and changing. I don't want you to be held back from assisting because of those sneaky blocks that are hiding in your blind spot. Right. There are far too many good-hearted people who are perpetually stuck in hermit mode and isolation under the guise of healing. We never seem to make any real progress. And the awakening is exploding right now, not just for newly awakened individuals, but those of us conscious beings are awakening to new levels of healing, new levels of power and authority and mastery over our manifestation mechanism, our vehicle, our body, right? There have never been so many people who are awake, and I'm sure you've seen it. It is the Great Awakening. And there are even more people who are becoming aware of their need for healing. It's happening right now, right in front of our eyes, and I'm sure you can see it. And you have the ability, you have the chance and the opportunity to shift and ride the wave, but you have to be willing to embrace a new way of healing. We have to learn to leverage the natural healing abilities of the body to be able to heal our trauma, calm our nervous system, and reprogram our subconscious. This is the key, right? That is what is necessary so that you can come to the place where being willing to be seen, right? To even stand out. You cannot lead from the shadows, and you have to let people see how different you are in order to be able to show them a better way. Now, don't let this create fear, and that's not my intention, but do let it wake you up. If you are a light worker and you have been yearning for something more, to step into your purpose, you've had that knowing, this can't be all there is. This seeker tendency, in my experience, I kept seeking and seeking and seeking, and I could not understand what was I seeking. I had amassed all of this ancient wisdom and knowledge, and yet I still felt this yearning and this pull towards something. And what it was my purpose. When I finally stepped into healing and helping others, I finally had that feeling of like my unquenchable thirst has been quenched. You did not come here to hide your light. And there have never been more people in need of your light than at this time. That is what you are seeking. It is time to stand out. But first, you must heal the blocks that keep you from doing that. And it's not easy. This is the beautiful thing is I'm going to tell you the easy way, right? So let's talk about how to do it, right? When I was stuck in the corporate world and hating it, I struggled to believe that I could start my own business. It seemed so hard to figure out how to do it, even though I was managing billions of dollars creating product and bringing them from cradle to grave. I could do it all for someone else, but it just seemed harder for me. I didn't like putting myself out there on social media. I hated taking selfies. I wilted at the thought of public speaking, let alone going live on Facebook or giving a presentation on Zoom. I didn't think I could do it. My body would shut me down. My palms got sweaty, my heart raced, my stomach turned over. I literally thought I was going to vomit. I would stumble over my words or just lose them altogether. My cheeks would flush and my voice would shake. And I really didn't think it was possible for me. I just thought, I don't have that kind of personality. I'm meant to be the person behind the leader. That's what I always thought. I bet that's common too. And then I learned how to heal my trauma. I learned how to work with my nervous system. And along with that, I removed the blocks, I reprogrammed and reconditioned. And that is what caused my body to respond in the way it did. When I learned how to take back my power and authority over these trauma triggers, over the conditioning and programming, my body no longer responded that way. I had to reprogram my subconscious and remove those blocks and the traumas from my body. And I did it with something called trauma spotting. It's a somatic healing therapy that I discovered inadvertently. I should say source delivered it to me, and it freaking works. No longer do you make these tiny little baby steps. You make leaps and bounds. Yes, there's an arc, there's a healing pattern that takes about a year, but within a few couple sessions, you can start to see how things will move through your body, right? And I discovered it works for big T trauma as well as just little subconscious blocks. It works for every type of subconscious belief or bodily, what they call somatic flashback that holds you back, right? This is the new way of healing. This is what made creating a business and being here with you possible. And I'm not the only one, right? Dr. Basil van der Kolk, if I can say his name correctly, is the author of The Body Keeps the Score. And he stated that trauma victims cannot recover unless they become familiar with and befriend the sensations in their body. He suggests that somatic healing is necessary to heal the mind and the body in order to restore hope and the possibility of joy. This is so much bigger than just your purpose. It is your dreams. It is your life. It is the ability to be able to say, I love my life and I'm happy to be here. The awareness of the need for somatic trauma healing is growing. More and more people are talking about it and understand it. They understand that the body keeps the score, and they're coming to understand that the blocks are stored in the body and the subconscious mind. They're interconnected. You cannot heal one without the other. Right? The body is our manifestation mechanism. And so we must learn to work with the body and the subconscious in order to manifest with intention. Yes, it's true. We need to visualize. We need high vibration. We need vision boards. But there is a lack of education teaching us how to see our subconscious beliefs and thoughts and behaviors that cause us to self-sabotage. This is the key here. I want to kind of say what I just said in a different way. We can have conscious thought. I can say, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire. And your subconscious brain's going, no, you're not, no, you're not, no, you're not, right? It is that tug of war, the battle of the brains. We've got a part of our brain that knows what I'm supposed to say and knows what I'm supposed to do. And then the other part of the brain that says, no, you don't want that. That's not safe. We're not going to go there. And guess what? Subconscious always wins. Right? Our society teaches us to ignore our emotions and encourages distractions that pull us out of the body, when in fact, the emotions and the body are the key to it all. That most people don't realize that a vast majority of our thoughts and the things we do and the choices we make are driven by our subconscious beliefs. Subconscious, which means below conscious awareness, which also means below our ability to choose. which means we can't consciously override these things. We have to understand how to work with the subconscious so that we can start to get our subconscious brain to work for us on autopilot. It requires a lot less effort too. So that's why we feel blocked, because it's subconscious. And that's why we struggle to manifest, because our subconscious beliefs hold the key to what we are trying to move towards. And if it doesn't believe it's safe, your subconscious brain will decide for you whether or not you're going to actually move towards that thing, even if your conscious brain believes otherwise. Subconscious brain always wins. This is why you can know what you need to do to move towards your dreams, but still not be able to get yourself to do it, right? Battle of the brains. Subconscious always wins, right? And usually without conscious thought. That's kind of a trick here too, is the subconscious will prevent you from moving towards the thing that you fear, or the subconscious brain fears, the nervous system fears, but it's not going to tell you why. It's below your conscious awareness, hiding in your blind spot, right? So if you're not actively healing your trauma and working to understand your subconscious beliefs and patterns, you are at a disadvantage. It's kind of like wasted energy. So let's go through each of these, and I'll explain how to fix all of the different problems. And then I'll explain sort of what is trauma spotting, how does it work, right? So positive thinking is necessary to some degree, like I said, but if you choose to turn a blind eye to the weeds, if you will, if you say there's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds in my garden, it doesn't make the weeds go away. That's actually just disassociation, right? We are ignoring, we are looking away from the weeds in the subconscious mind. And we can leverage all of the manifestation techniques that we know and want to leverage, but they will not work if you still have that unhealed wound, the trauma in the body, the subconscious mind that doesn't embody your conscious beliefs. It doesn't believe it's safe, right? So the next problem that people struggle with, like I said, is believing that they have the them to move out of a job or relationship or life circumstance that they hate. The unhealed wounds and the subconscious beliefs cause you to believe that there is no hope, that life will always be difficult. It's too hard to accomplish my dreams. I don't have the power or the strength to do what it takes. I'll be rejected. I'll be criticized. They'll make fun of me. I'll get hurt, right? Anything around putting myself out there seems unsafe. Now, we tend to believe that if anything threatens our safety, we should just recoil from it, right? Our body, our nervous system basically shuts us down. Even if our intelligent brain says, no, I got to move towards that thing, the body and the subconscious brain go, oh, no, no. Oh, no, you don't. Glass ceiling right there, right? We have lost our belief in our ability to, and our power to create change. When the truth is, you are the ultimate power and authority in your life. You are the creator of your reality, but you need a subconscious and a nervous system that's going to work for you. Yes, it will take time to create the life that you desire, but you do have the power to do it. And once you heal the wounds and those pesky limiting beliefs in your subconscious, you'll start to see the evidence. You will start to own your power and start to manifest your dreams. You will see tangible proof outside of you that you are moving closer to your purpose and shining your light the way you were born to. So we have to be honest with ourselves. Did you sign up to come here and experience all of this pain just to let it drive you into isolation and seclusion? It's kind of a form of giving up, right? Did you choose to come here and hide your light and only share it maybe with a handful of social media friends who really can't hurt you because you could just unfriend them at the drop of a hat or a trigger? No, I don't think you would sign up for that. I certainly wouldn't. Would you? I doubt it. So what makes us willing to sign up for the enormous amounts of pain that we have endured? How about the fact that it makes you more powerful? That's the given, right? Everybody talks about that. But what if it drives you towards a revolutionary way of healing? What if it gives you the capacity to help heal the world? Not to mention, learn how to utilize your power and authority to its fullest capacity. What if it teaches you how to manifest your dreams and even create heaven on earth? Now that sounds like something I would sign up for. It makes a lot more sense when you think about it that way, doesn't it? So no more hiding. because otherwise that's all you did come here for, is to hide and to suffer through the pain and reincarnate and try again. Right? The good news is we don't have to bootstrap it. We don't have to use willpower. We don't have to force ourselves through discomfort. Trauma spotting is soft and easy, and it will heal the wounds that cause us pain when we try to shine our light, so that you go through this easy, soft shadow work or healing process, and then it effortlessly happens. You don't have to push yourself to do it. And so that leads us to the last solution to the challenge, which is when we have unhealed wounds and we try to step into our purpose. It requires authenticity. It requires we know who we are, and it requires that we remember who we were made to be before the world changed us. You have to be willing to be seen, to let people get to know you. They have to know, like, and trust you to buy from you. But if you have those unhealed wounds and a highly sensitized nervous system and even an overactive fear center, it will tell you it's too dangerous. That voice of trauma barks in your ear. Who do you think you are? What do you have to offer? No one's going to like you. They're just going to criticize you or reject you, and they will hurt you. You better not even try. Just stay safe. And so then it'll feel more like overwhelm, or I'm too tired, or I don't have enough experience, or I don't have enough money, I don't have enough time. These are all the lies that we keep telling ourselves to keep ourselves safe. But really what it is self-sabotage. We struggle to see what is really happening, again, because it's living in our blind spot, in our subconscious. And so then we feel confused. Like, I really want this thing. Why am I not able to move towards it? What are my blocks? We feel like there must be something wrong with me. And that just feeds into the original wound that caused us to believe that I was the problem, right? And then we lose trust in ourselves. And that causes us to search outside of ourselves for the answers, like those gurus and tarot cards and astrology, like I mentioned. Even worse, family and, no, I don't say worse, family and friends, right, who don't understand the way that energy works and the healing, the way healing is changing, right? But when we seek this advice outside of ourselves, we again get stuck in that loop. We feel like we're spinning our wheels, and then that drives us towards the addictive vices that I was talking about, right? So what we've done is we've given our power and authority away to everyone and everything outside of us. And we have foregone our highest source of guidance that can only come from within. So think about it for a minute. If your body is the temple and source lives inside of you, I love Greg Braden, who discovered that the codes in our DNA literally translate to God eternal within the body. That means that the answers we seek truly are within us. Home that you seek is within you. Home is where the heart is. This also means no one has access to your guidance system. No one can heal, no one can hear or feel or see the way you do. But we are looking to everyone else to tell us what to do. So it's no wonder we struggle to find our own way. So what's the solution? Here we go. Let's fix the problems, right? The first step is listen to yourself. Set a vision based on your heart's desire. So I'm going to clarify that. Set a vision based on your heart's desire. And what you have to look out for here is far too many people who have unhealed wounds and blocks. They struggle to create a vision. And when they can create a vision, it looks more like survival than it does thriving. And that's fair. That's reasonable. And even if you struggle with this, just allow yourself to dream for a while. Dream big and just keep telling yourself, I know this is possible. And if you struggle with that, if it's difficult at this point, that's okay. We can jump to step 2, which is somatic healing therapy through trauma spotting, right? Because the body keeps the score, the blocks and the unhealed wounds and the traumas live in the body. They cannot be removed through cognitive processes, which means talk therapy alone does not work. Anything that is working with the mind to heal the trauma or remove the blocks is going to only get you so far. The closest, like somatic processing, somatic experiencing works pretty well. Breath work is pretty good, but I have not found anything that works as well as trauma spotting. So just know anything cognitive is not going to get you all the way there. It'll get you partially there, right? Trauma spotting through source tapping, also known as the test method, leverages the natural healing abilities of the body to remove the blocks from the body and reprogram the subconscious. I'm going to get a little technical here because I think it's important that you fully understand. I'm not giving you a bunch of BS. I stumbled into this, source gave it to me. I cannot take credit for it. The body's nervous system is, our hair is an extension of our nervous system. There's veins or tributaries, whatever. I don't want to use too much language as it's going to confuse you, but the nervous system runs all throughout the body. It's constantly got its tentacles out there feeling for something that could potentially be of threat. From there, it sends it goes both ways, but we'll just say that the subconscious brain is responding to the nervous system and the nervous system to the subconscious brain. So when we work with the body, we desensitize the triggers, the response of the body, and that allows the brain to say, okay, this is no longer a threat. So that's how we reprogram the subconscious. Yeah, it could be done through techniques I don't even want to go into. There's things that I can't even say on here. We'll just say that trauma has been used to program people because when we are in a traumatized state, the subconscious is very susceptible. Well, the beauty is this works the other way. When we desensitize the triggers, we create that sense of safety. The brain can reinterpret what you experienced and shift and change its beliefs around how you have to operate and how you have to move through life in order to keep yourself safe. So instead of all people are unsafe and I must seclude myself to prevent pain, we then can move into some people are safe. And I am manifesting and I am emitting a frequency and a vibration through my body that has and holds these beliefs. And so as I shift into these new beliefs, I can draw new people into me. I'm getting a little too in the weeds here, so I'm going to stop. But just know that this is not Pollyanna-ish. It actually really works. So yes, in order to remove the blocks from the body, we have to reprogram the subconscious, and then manifesting and stepping into our purpose will become easier because we won't have those blocks that is telling us it's unsafe, right? Think about this, right? If we try to step into our purpose without removing these blocks, it's like pulling the head off a dandelion, right? You're still going to have the dandelion problem. You're going to have to go into the dirt and find the root cause, go into the body and find the root cause so that you can pull that and forever eliminate the challenge, right? That's what we do with trauma spotting. We go into the subconscious, go into the body, find that root trauma, that core belief that comes with it, and allow the body its process. So when here's the weeds again, I really like the details of it. When you I'm losing my train of thought there. Okay, so I'm not going to go in the weeds with you. It's so tough, but we're going to stick with the plan. When we identify the belief alone, it does not work all on its own. We have to go into the body and allow the body its process in closing that trauma loop. That was the train of thought I lost there. So when we experience something difficult, we experience a trauma, right? Even if it's a perceived trauma as a child, somebody says, you're not very pretty, right? And that sticks with you. That opens a fight or flight response. It opens a trauma loop. And no one taught us how. This is the revolution of how to heal. This is how healing is shifting and changing, is no one taught us how to close that trauma loop. If you think, I love the weeds, we're going there. If you think about a gazelle running from a lion, it has a period, a process, a completed fight or flight response, right? There's the lion. I must run, ran and escaped from lion. Now I close my trauma loop. And then it goes and shakes and it's on its merry way. It doesn't hold on to a belief that I can never go out and graze on the grass ever again because there potentially could be a lion. No, it's released it, right? So what we do when we go into the body like that is we're closing that trauma loop. We're releasing that subconscious belief that will then allow the brain to adopt a new belief and feel safe in the situations that we need it to allow us to feel safe in. So we do this by setting the stage for healing, identifying a maximized eye position, working with the nervous system through entrainment and through closing that loop, and also energy healing. So there is a very strong component of spirituality here. This is why traditional EMDR or brain spotting does not necessarily work. It can get you part of the way there, but there is a point where you have to be able to embrace that you are one with God. You have to be able to embrace angelic divine support. You have to be willing to embrace purpose. You have to be willing to embrace the belief that the world can be good, that I can enjoy my life. If you are clinging to, like so many therapists that I know, we cling to the belief that life is suffering, life has to be difficult, there always will be pain. That's a block that you are going to stop right there. And so that's why I highly encourage you work with someone who is aware of energy and aware of the divine support that's available to you, to call it in, to deliver it to you, to be the conduit that cannot even begin to tell you what moves through my body in these sessions. It's profound. Again, I'm in the weeds, so we're getting back to it, but just know it's soft, it's easy, and it's effortless because there isn't anything that you need to do. The body handles the healing. We are leveraging the natural healing abilities of the body. All you have to do is be present with and aware of the sensations in your body and believe and be willing to receive the energetic assistance. Your belief is a big component of this because if you come in skeptical and you're like, this doesn't work and I'm going to come prove it wrong, congratulations. You will always find the evidence of what you seek, right? If you believe, the body will handle the rest. Also, no, the brain gets in the way of the body's healing processes. So if you come with that belief, you've already shot your chances in the foot. So I didn't mean to say all that, but it's worth mentioning, right? The third and final step to this process is just be consistent. Stay with the work. It doesn't happen overnight. There is an arc to healing. I will do a video on this very soon. I will also do a video kind of explaining more of the specific details because clearly that wants to come through. But know that yes, one session can move a lot. And for people who have done a lot of healing work, a couple sessions moves them through. But for others, there is an arc of healing that is a little bit longer term. Regardless of that, this is like brushing your teeth and going to the gym and eating healthy food. We must consciously cultivate our inner world consistently for our entire lives, just like meditation is a consistent requirement, right? In psychology, there's something called the diathesis model, and it's pretty basic. We are like a cup, right? And our trauma and our stress and our emotions are the water in the cup. And what happens when the cup gets full? It spills over, right? So we have to be able to and equipped with the ability to understand, how do I empty my cup? But no one taught us this. This is why I feel so passionately about getting mental health education and trauma healing awareness into schools. Somatic healing therapy needs to be taught just like math and English and science. Right? This is what happens with our internal world is we regularly have to empty out or we will spill over. And what's the spillover look like? It might look like lashing out at someone. It might look like rages of anger, but it might also look like shutdown. It might look like freeze. It might look like I need to sleep for a week. It might look like I can't adult anymore. It might look like I don't want to live in this environment anymore. It might look like I want to go home, wherever home is. Right? That's why we have to learn how to do this on a regular basis. And so that it's required or it's sustainable, right? So that we can consistently come from a healed and whole place. And that doesn't mean that you need me for the rest of your life. That's not what I'm saying. And by the way, there's other trauma spotter trainers out there. I need to get them listed on the website very, very shortly. But you don't have to work with just me. There are others. If you find someone who speaks your language better, then I highly encourage you work with them. But the key is over time, yes, the facilitation is necessary in the beginning because you need the entrainment of the nervous system. You need someone to help you stay disciplined and focused on that sensation in the body for a while. But over time, you will gain the skill. You will learn how to do a vast majority of the little things on your own. And then I still see someone on a regular basis, and I probably will for the rest of my life. But you will be able to do a lot of this on your own, right? And that's what I teach, right? I teach you how to do the trauma spotting. I teach you all about trauma in general, but that's part of our programs. The key is maximize your energy and effort. You have to maximize your energy and effort to be able to shine your light, to be able to be of service, to tap into who you naturally are, to grow your gifts and your talents. Everybody has them. They are also buried by trauma. Just know that it takes a lot of energy to hold on to and defend against these old wounds. It takes a lot of energy to avoid people, places, and things that trigger you. And it takes a lot of energy to try to go it alone, to be hyper independent, to be hyper vigilant, to do it all by yourself. We become unable to receive the love and support that we need to thrive when we are in such a masculine, resistant, activated nervous system state. The healed nervous system state is feminine, magnetic, receiving, open, allowing, receptive, supported, right? This is where we need to be. And this is what we're learning how to do. Our brains are naturally wired for connection, but trauma rewires us for protection. This is why healthy relationships are so difficult for wounded people. And that's a quote by Ryan North from the Somatic Experiencing International Organization. Notice that shining your light and helping heal the world requires being seen, and it requires connection with others. And once you're able to do this, you will be astounded at the love and support that is not only available to you, but that you are able to receive. You will finally feel at home, and you will finally be able to say, I love my life. So you have to ask yourself, are you content with the way things are? If you look back 10 years from now and you see that you missed this wave of healing, would you regret it? If you were on your deathbed and you never pursued your purpose or your dreams, you were happy, right? And there comes a point where we're pretty happy. Like we can go part of the way in the healing journey and reach a place of contentment with our life. And like, you know what? It doesn't bother me that much. I don't really need it. And that's okay. For some people who are willing to just be in life, that's okay. That may be why you're here. But there's others of us who have that yearning and that desire to contribute. And if you didn't do that, if you never quenched that unquenchable thirst, would it bother you? Right? Is the wound that you fear facing worth giving up, thriving for the rest of your life? Giving up on your purpose, giving up on your dreams and the people that you love, is it worth it? The shift towards healing has already started, and it's on hyper speed right now. Procrastinating, waiting, and doing the same thing over and over is just going to keep you stuck. It's going to keep you hidden. And so you get to choose in this moment, who do you want to be? Do you want to be the hidden seeker, or do you want to be a shining light worker? What's important to you? What does your soul call you towards? Are you ready to kick hermit mode to the curb? If so, I want to invite you to join us for the More Than Enough Mastermind coming soon, where I will teach you all about trauma, how trauma changes your brain, how it keeps you from receiving love and abundance. And we'll cover the 8 most common trauma responses, including abundance blocks. And we will not only jumpstart your healing journey, but you will also become a certified trauma spotting healer. Just click the link below to learn all about it and to take advantage of the lowest possible payment plan. This does not last forever. Prices increase as we get closer to the start date. Of course, this payment plan is available only for a short time, and we are starting soon. So click the link below, and I will talk to you soon. I love you, my friends. Sending love and healing, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Namaste. It won't let me close. Bye.